Hi, and welcome back to SportsKhabri. We are starting the second edition of Ladies in the Lead, and today we are joined by Jaya Chahar, the founder and CEO of Trade Fantasy Game. Running a fantasy sports platform comes with its own share of challenges. Let's find out from Jaya what her experiences have been like so far. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jaya.
Hi, Akshada. Thanks for having me.
Jaya, sports is now a very important part of both your personal and professional life. But how did it all start? How did Jaya get into the world of sports?
See, I think sports has always been a part of life in general, growing up also. I was a sporty child. But I think more so as an integral part, it became a part of my life, of course, with Deepak entering my life, right? So then it was, more, I understood that what kind of pressures they go through. You know, athletes, it's not an easy life, to be really honest. So, of course, that's how I felt that now sports has entered our life in a bigger way. Apart from that, I think in on a professional front also, we entered into fantasy gaming. So we entered into that because I remember that when me and Deepak decided to be life partners, we had also decided to be business partners because I was working for Airtel, I still remember. And then, we said, why don't we launch our own innovative platform? That was always my dream. I still remember when I joined Airtel, they used to give one document, right? And they would ask you what is it that you want to do, and it could be anything. Even if somebody wanted to be a dancer, they could probably write that, right? So it was quite. It was just to encourage people to follow their dreams. So I'd written in that as well that I wanted to make my own innovative platform, and I didn't know it'll come true that soon because it with Deepa coming into my life and then we deciding that hey, we should go forward and make our own innovative platform. We decided on sports primarily because of course he is a cricketer, and there was so much more that he could contribute to, not just the ecosystem, but as a founder I think he also contributed a lot in terms of gameplay, etc., to decide that. And specifically in the beginning, we when I did the research on gaming, I already worked on a smaller part of gaming in Airtel as well. And I think from then on, I'd started studying about what gaming is, right? And how gaming as an industry is shaping up in India. So I remember that when I looked at it, I remember seeing that real money games actually made most of the revenue in that industry. So, and out of that as well, we felt that cricket as a sport in fantasy was the largest contributor. So we said, hey, like we are sitting on such a big opportunity, and this is what we should follow because there was experience in building consumer online businesses as to what I do or I did in the past. And there was Deepak who came in with this brand name and this front face and this whole knowledge about cricket, all of that. And then we had an opportunity in the market as well because you see the Indian market is still growing. It's not about that hey, fantasy came in, there's a top bunch of apps that are being played today. No, I think because of 5G, because of the increasing mobile handsets being floated in this country, and also the kind of time which is spent on mobile apps today alone, it's approximately on an average 5 hours. In that, 60% of the audiences that are probably even online game users or gamers. So then we decided that yes, this is the right platform for us to launch.
And this is your first entrepreneurial experience, right?
Yes, this is my first entrepreneurial experience. Yes, technically.
Jaya, in the past, you've worked with prestigious organizations such as BBC, Airtel. How did your experiences there help you shape in becoming the entrepreneur that you are today?
I think I will tell you that everything I've done in the corporate life has helped me or shaped me into the entrepreneur that I am today because I think I started my career with Star in broadcasting. Okay. And I still remember there was so much to learn. I was just freshly out of college and I got recruited, thankfully, into Star. And, I learned from being an executive to, climbing different ranks going forward. And then I realized that obviously from the beginning, my passion was digital, right? That's how I carved my path. From Star, I went on to BBC, and BBC is what, I learned digital sales there. I also learned programmatic there. I learned so much more content. There was a new content team that we set up in India. Then I moved on, to Universal Music for a bit. That I don't think was my cup of tea, frankly, because music is a different industry altogether. It requires different kind of passion, and for me, I don't think that I belong to the music industry at all. And then, I decided to actually go forward with Warner Brothers, and there was a company called Hook, which I worked for as well. So I think, and then from Hook, there was Airtel. So I felt like in the last 4 years, I gained experience of almost 10 years, because when you work in dynamic setups, right, smaller teams, faster pace, it's all about actually delivering, right? So there's a lot of things, a lot of experiences that you go through, for example, in companies like Airtel, because you get a chance to be revolutionizing an entire industry. Like, I worked for Airtel Extreme, for example, and I remember that we had to lower the cost of the platform because of the high rising content costs in the OTT, right? So when that happened, I still remember Airtel went through a whole lot of people leaving. There was a lot of chaos, but anyone who survived that and delivered is actually meant to be an entrepreneur, I felt, you know and kudos to the team. I think they're a brilliant team, brilliant set of people also that I worked with. Highly skilled, clinical. And I think I resonate that with sportsmen as well, right? We don't, as entrepreneurs, we don't go and play on the field. But there is a lot of work that we do mentally. And I think our field is more mental than it is physical. So, which I do think is equally exhausting, right? So, that's my learning. And I think being consistent, performing consistently, having a clear vision consistently, all of these things are very relatable when it comes to sports and an entrepreneurial journey. Because all of this, again, has to have resilience, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Like, I remember that there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I have, personally seen have cried. They've just cried in their journey because it is so difficult. It is so difficult to start off a journey by yourself. And I've been lucky enough to have my husband also join me as the founder, right? So, which is the best part, because you have to have a lot of faith, good or bad, you're in it together. So that's, I think, as a corporate person, it really helped me to build all of these qualities of resilience, of faith, of right vision, of strategy, and of course team building is something I would say is the biggest thing. And I think you will make errors when it comes to your team, because it's not easy to judge somebody, right? You may see your talent, but you have to back your talent as well. And there could be some errors, some misses, but that's fine. You learn, and that's how it goes.
Jaya, fantasy sports platforms is a very competitive space. So, can you tell us more about TFG and what sets it apart from the competitors out there?
So I'll tell you, you can call TFG the T20 of fantasy gaming. It's as simple as that's what we call it also. Because what sets TFG apart is many things. While there is a lot of familiarity that we took in consideration, like there's a salary structure, there's a certain fantasy point system that everybody today understands, right? But what really makes TFG fun is the fact that it's a smaller team creation format. It's a six-player format, right? On TFG, you make a six-player team, and you choose a wild card, which is your seventh player in the squad. And essentially, that seventh player, if that player actually performs in the real game, it replaces the lowest performing player in your six-player squad, and that helps you to rank higher on the leaderboard and also win more cash rewards, right? Apart from this, Akshata, the truly special thing that we've done is people can use player cards, and these player cards are nothing but what you get when you make your team. So essentially, you made a team, and all those player cards are assigned to you. The more you play, the more leveled up those cards become, and the bigger the level, the bigger the cash reward again. So, for example, if I got 100 rupees at a level 5 Deepak Chahar card, I'll get 20% more on that. So 100 will become 120. Similarly, 1 lakh will become 1 lakh 20. So there is cash bonus over and above the price pool also, which I think is a big hit, for us in the last 3 months. I think people have really enjoyed this cash bonus for sure. And of course, there's a gamification element, right? So all of this put together, I think we catered to every person. We didn't say that, hey, if you're probably top 2% of the audience, that top 2% of the income in India, then only you can play, because there's nothing. See, even our contest range from 10 rupees to 2,500, to 5,000. So there is a game for everyone here to play. And then the ecosystem that we are building. So we genuinely feel that, this was just the start. This is just like a starter. The main course is yet to come. And that's what we are working on. Our product ecosystem is very, very strong. And, what we are building in terms of features are going to be very sticky, very engaging for the users, and they'll enjoy playing it. So that's what we're doing.
Jaya, building a fantasy sports platform, one has to look after a lot of things: sales, marketing, and of course, tech, such a crucial part of a fantasy sports platform. Apart from that, even the laws are right now not very well defined. They are still evolving, there are still a lot of things coming up. So, how difficult it is to build a platform such as TFG?
Honestly speaking, बाहर तो लोगों को बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आता है कि how difficult it is to run this platform, right? I mean, today you genuinely kudos to Dream 11, even though they are competitors, but I think that they have had a very challenging and 90-degree uphill task, right? There was no regulation back then when they became the pioneers. So I would genuinely say there are two things here. One, that of course people till now don't know what goes behind, right? In order to make such a platform. And specifically when it comes to technology, because you see everything is real time. You come on a platform, there's real time data. If you go on TFG today, there's real time player statistics behind your card. So to build that and to give you the experience which is absolutely fair, real, and up to date, it's very difficult, right? So there's constant work. There's 24/7 work, right? And that's something that is the backbone of this business. So when it comes to technology, we of course built our in-house team. We took some help from a third-party agency as well, and I think that's a normal, very very normal norm, because a lot of players in the industry today work with third parties, right? Because there is so much work. You want to expand, you want to give the best experience to your users, or at least that's how TFG feels about it. That's how we want to be user centric. So what we essentially do is there's a lot of technology work that happens, which is essentially divided into phases. Because we went ahead, made our source codes, we launched the app, but there's also maintenance of that, right? So we keep upgrading. There are issues and bugs that we keep solving at a everyday basis, and this is something which is true for everybody. But I think the difference that we are now making, see, we've existed for 1 quarter, right? We're like a 3 months old baby. So now moving forward, and we're growing very fast. So now going forward, we are also going to be bringing out new features which includes AI. So that is a very very differentiating factor for us also, what we are building. So I think next few quarters will be immensely exciting. And in terms of technology, see, that's what's always excited me. I feel like technology, look at you and me today, we're having a chat literally from wherever we are, but it still feels so real. So I think technology literally can solve anything for the human race. And I think using it to give a right experience, using it to gamify or for entertainment is absolutely brilliant. And of course we all work very hard at it, so that's definitely there.
Jaya, what have been your biggest learnings so far as an entrepreneur?
So many, Akshata. I don't know how to tell you one. There are so many. I think one of the biggest lessons I've had is in life and even as an entrepreneur, that to never give up, to be resilient, to be constant at what you do, because there are no overnight successes. If someone thinks that TFG was launched in just 3 months, no, it took us a good almost 1.5 years, right? So I would say that it's resilience, it's being consistent. And apart from that, as an entrepreneur, I also feel that we need to develop people, right? Develop the right talent, because you see everything here, it's not a robot controlled scenario. It is this is work done by people, right? So definitely as an entrepreneur, I feel that we need to develop the right teams and need to develop the right talent, and that would be the top two for me, apart from the hundreds of other lessons that I've got.
Jaya, you're a celebrity, you're married to someone who's a big name in the world of sports. This often comes with its own share of challenges. If I search Jaya Chahar on Google, I will not find your work details, right? On the top search results. So, how do you manage that, and how do you deal with it that no matter, what you're doing in your professional life, it is often getting unnoticed by people, and how does it affect you?
Well, I think I have now started feeling that I have been taken notice a little bit for my work, but it's a very valid question, Akshata. This is something I remember, Deepak and I had done a shoot for another magazine or something, and they asked this question as well. And at that point of time, I had not opened TFG yet. I was still a working professional, right? And I think that's something that we told the media as well, that I think it's your job to not glorify only probably one sector, right? There are a lot of, cricketer wives, or not many, but few at least, that are working, and I think they deserve their credit. But see, at the end of the day, how I deal with it is very simple. I work hard, right? I don't do, and I'm very real for that matter, because I don't think that I fake anything, right? There is no, there's nothing about me that probably, and anybody who knows me would say that there's nothing about me that will say that, hey, you know what, she doesn't walk her talk, right? So because I believe in walking my talk, so I think I've definitely worked hard to also get recognition, and the only way one can get any appreciation is probably if you have worked hard and also achieved higher, right? So yes, sometimes you can be unnoticed for the work that you do, but I think with constant hard work and constant efforts, you can overcome that, right? And honestly speaking, in today's world, I think I, as a woman, I don't look for validation at all. I don't think that my work's validation is going to be given by somebody saying that, hey, you know what, Jaya, I know amazing work that you do. Today we have so many big companies, right? And people have made it, but nobody knows the owner, right? I'm telling you, I can name 10 here also. Who knows the owner? People don't know, right? Because in India, the thing is to glorify fame, cricket, Bollywood, right? They don't understand, and I'm sorry, but it's true that they don't understand that doing a corporate job is equally difficult, right? Or being an entrepreneur now, at least, of course, there's a lot more about entrepreneurial journeys, with Shark Tank and some of the other things and all of that. But it definitely means that that too is something that people need to pick up, right? So I think that's gaining traction. But yes, as a celebrity, sometimes, I have been looked at that, oh, probably she's just traveling to the best hotels and has the best life. But believe me, being an entrepreneur, it's a very lonely journey, right? Because I don't walk whenever I'm traveling, and of course, I have to travel with my husband. I don't think I even get out of the room for a few days. That's how much work I have. And probably, if you put something on a social media one day, and that is always gone noticed, thinking that, hey, oh, probably she's traveling and she's doing all of these things, TFG is just like a celebrity thing for them. No, I'm sorry, it's not, because we work very hard at this, and I do something every day to make this better. So yeah, that's how I feel that the only way I can probably make my efforts and my entrepreneurial journey on my brand to come out there is through definite hard work. And I think I don't, like I said, I don't look for validation from people. Nobody can tell me how hard I have worked, or what I'm doing. But I think my only validation is the success of my brand. How many people really like it? Do people really want to be on it, right? And of course, on the business ecosystem side, which is what my ecosystem is, right? Of course, I'm very close to sports, but my entrepreneurial ecosystem is the business side of it, right? Where I go meet the industry people. There is, of course, a lot more commonality between me and them rather than me and the sports front, frankly. So that, yeah, that's how I would say that there is not, much you can do, and I never look for a validation, but your constant efforts and hard work will always show who you are and the real metal.
Jaya, the journey of an entrepreneur is often a very lonely one. How do you look after your mental health in this process?
That's such a valid question, Akshata. Mental health, people don't talk about it. They're like, oh, no big deal, just go for a walk, just stop overthinking. No, so I personally feel that it's very difficult. If you are a working woman managing a family today, it is a difficult task, right? You will go through mental breakdowns, because look at it. I'm going to talk specifically. I'm not going gender specific, because it's as hard for a man, honestly. But frankly speaking, in an entrepreneurial journey, why is it more difficult? Is because you're building something 0 to 100, right? If you're working in a company, for example, it's easier. There are other people, there is a setup, right? There are things that you are assigned to which you have to complete, and that's it for you, right? But firstly, as an entrepreneur, you wear multiple hats, right? And because it's your baby, you're the one responsible, right? And at the end of the day, being a woman, what happens is that, of course, you have commitments to your family, to your spouse, and then you have to fulfill that as well. So how I look at stress is very simple. Firstly, I've been blessed, right? Because the founder and the partner that I have is, absolutely, I would say that I couldn't have asked for something better, because I think he's a breath of fresh air in himself when I speak to him, because he's my go-to person for every problem. You know, I'll just go and tell him everything. Oh, this is what has happened. That's what has happened. And sometimes he has to tell me, hey, relax, right? Just chill, just calm down, right? So that's one of the things. But the way I deal with stress is I work out. I think if you don't work out, if you don't anything, you can go to the gym, you can play a sport, you can probably do any activity that makes you feel fresh, and physical activity. You see, because of there's so much mental pressure, you have to have physical activity. That's one thing I do. Whether even if I can't step out of the room, I'll just do some push-ups and pull-ups and probably some squats in the room itself and take frequent breaks. I think that is one integration of your work life that you have to do if you want to keep away from problems, essentially, right? You're not running after being making a business and making it big just to fall sick. Nobody wants to do that, right? So obviously you have to take care of your mental health, and the way I see it is speak to somebody. It can be your best friend, it can be your partner, it can be your mother, father, anybody, or just write down. If you feel stressed, just write down something, right? So I will tell you, I have faced a lot of mental health problems now, because what happens is your mind is working so much, right? Your mind is constantly working. You probably can't sleep, right? Because there's so much on your plate to do that every day you will say, hey, should I do this, should I do that, should I probably also launch xyz things. So there's so much going on in your mind that you probably cannot even sleep. And that's what's happened to me sometimes, right? The only way is to just switch off, for that matter, right? Because a stressed mind, there's only so much that that mind can think. So you have to be fresh, and you have to take care of your mental health while you work out, speak to somebody, write down a diary, watch something cool, laugh out, man, for some time. But you have to do it because it's important for your mental health. And sleep, it's the most important, I would say, personally.
Jaya, how do you think are women now being perceived in the sports industry?
Women in the sports industry have now started. See, I'll talk more about professional athletes for that matter, right? They have gained their fair share of name. If you even see today, a badminton is coming up, right? Or has come up, I would say, rather, right? There is a PV Sindhu, there is so many other athletes, right? So I think women are definitely perceived in a better light today, but there's still a long way to go, right? Depends on the sports. I think it's very sport agnostic. For example, if you see women's cricket today, it's become, thanks to BCCI, right? They have given that platform of equal pay to women, right? They have launched women's IPL. We also, in fact, covered women's IPL this year on our platform just because it was the first time it was happening. And as a woman, I also wanted to support women's IPL. So we covered the entire league on TFG also, right? We gave people the chance to play the women's IPL, make their fantasy teams on TFG. And I think that was a really good step towards women's cricket, right? Because if you see in the next few years, that too will come up, right? Of course, it's as compared to the men's cricket currently, it doesn't garner that kind of engagement or that high the revenue, right? Even for, let's say, advertisers, it's not that high, but definitely is the next big thing. So I think women's sports and women in general in sports are coming up for sure. I would say that.
Jaya, one message for women out there who are looking to make a career in the world of sports.
In the world of sports, see, I don't know if I can give them anything, but as a woman, I can just say that you have a lot more power than you think you do. So unlock that power, unleash that power, and you'll win the world.
Thank you so much, Jaya, for joining us today. Very grateful to you for your time and wish you all the best with TFG and all the other endeavors that you're looking to get into.
Thanks a lot, Akshat. I really appreciate it. Thanks.